Today is Easter Sunday, April 20th, 2025. Welcome back here to another Weather on the Go weather forecast. We're going to be talking about severe weather here on this Easter Sunday that could be bringing us some significant damaging winds, large to very large hail, and strong tornadoes, very heavy rainfall that could also be leading to some flash flooding as well. Then we look at the weather pattern heading into late April and early May and give you a diagnosis of what you can expect out your door in the long range as well. So, as we do daily weather videos here on this channel, make sure to subscribe to my channel for the latest and accurate weather information. By subscribing, like the video, give it a thumbs up, and also share this video with friends, family, and on social media. I definitely appreciate it. So let's get in and talk about our outbreak of severe weather expected this afternoon and this evening. In the orange, that is a level 3 out of 5 enhanced risk from Missouri down here into northern Arkansas, and that's the area of greatest concern for tornadoes, damaging winds, and large to very large hail. Now, outside of that area, in the dark green and yellow, we still have a marginal risk to a slight risk of severe weather, and that extends all the way down into East Texas and northern Illinois, eastern Iowa here as we go into this afternoon. And what the culprit is for this is a ejecting trough across the plains, ejecting into the Mississippi River Valley as we go into this afternoon, and you can see plenty of energy with it as it's wrapped up like a cinnamon bun here this afternoon, and it's going to be bringing plenty of dynamics for severe weather. So to zoom it in, big cities at risk here into the Macomb area, into Quincy and St. Louis, back here into Springfield, Jefferson City, Missouri, Branson, all the way down in here into Fayetteville, Fort Smith and Little Rock, Jonesboro, all the way down here into Texarkana, Shreveport, Monroe, and Memphis, all at risk for some severe storms as we go into this Easter Sunday afternoon and evening. The biggest threat we see here is an enhanced risk-driven tornado threat. We have a 10% hatched risk for tornadoes in those hatched areas, means that a strong tornado EF2 to EF5 variety would be possible there in middle and southern Missouri and northern parts of Arkansas. In the brown, that's a 5% chance there of tornadoes. In the green, that's a 2% chance of tornadoes within a 25-mile point. Now we look at the damaging wind risk, especially in the red. That's a 30% chance of some 60 to 70 mile per hour winds this afternoon and this evening. And then the hail risk is a little bit lower, thankfully, as we've seen a lot of baseball and softball size hail over the past few days. It doesn't look too conducive for that today, but we still could be seeing those quarter to even $half, maybe even ping pong ball size hailstones as we go later on through the day. Now let's look here at our significant tornado parameter space, because the higher the number, the higher the chance for tornadoes, the environment more suitable for that. Notice that starts to peak as we get to the 4 o'clock hour here across Missouri and into western Illinois, northern Arkansas as we go into the 4 o'clock hour this afternoon, and it remains elevated really through about 8, 9 o'clock here this evening, after which we'll start to see those values start to decrease as this moves further north into a more stable environment in northern Illinois and eastern Iowa, but we'll still have to keep an eye on the potential of a couple of tornadoes in those areas. So let's look at the radar here. This is at noon time frame. A couple of robust thunderstorms down here into the Arklatex region we'll be keeping an eye on. Otherwise, just some general stratiform rain across Kansas, eastern Nebraska, Iowa, northern Missouri, up here toward Wisconsin and Illinois. A nice soaking rain for you here at the noon hours. We go into the 3 o'clock hour here this afternoon. Notice a line of some intense thunderstorms developing there in western and southwest Missouri, northwestern portions there of Arkansas, and this could be the intense line that produces some widespread damaging winds. Also the potential for large to very large hail and a couple of embedded tornadoes here. 1 or 2 of them could be strong, and then we'll start to see those lines of storms start to move north and east there toward the Mississippi River, getting into the 6 o'clock time frame this evening. 9 o'clock, this is on a weakening trend as it moves into a more stable environment, right? Iowa, northern Illinois having a lot of rainfall here this morning into the early afternoon, low cloud cover, very stable environment here, so those storms should fall apart as they reach the Rockford area, Cedar Rapids, Dubuque, and over towards Chicago, but still packing a punch with some heavier rainfall, some smaller hail, and some gusty winds. And then after the midnight hour, a lot of that rain moves up there into northern Wisconsin and the UP of Michigan. How much rain are we talking about? Well, in the orange here, we're talking a couple of inches of rainfall, and it's really centered across portions of western Wisconsin, southeast Minnesota, Iowa, and down here into Missouri, where we could be seeing 1 to as much as 3 inches worth of rainfall. And this will be a soaking rain for much of the western ag belt as we go into this afternoon. And look how cool it is with the low cloud cover across that region. We're going to be seeing high temperatures this Easter Sunday afternoon in the 50s across Iowa, Wisconsin, northern Illinois, where areas south of there in the severe weather risk are in the 70s, and even warmer yet down into the southeast, well into the 80s here, 90s in fact in Florida with an ongoing drought down there. Drier ground heats up faster than a wetter ground, so very warm down there in Florida. And the warm air, the spring-like temperatures that is, will continue into the new week. Monday, April 21st through Saturday, April 26th, central and eastern U.S. going to be well above normal with our temperatures, a little bit below normal across the western tier of the United States with some cooler weather out there for places like Seattle, Portland, down there towards Sacramento as we go into the new week. And we'll show you those temperatures, record highs possible almost on a daily basis down there on the west coast of Florida. Notice how that begins tomorrow and going really into Tuesday with 90s out there, widespread record highs from the Big Bend of Florida all the way down to Tampa Bay and Fort Myers and Naples as we go into Wednesday. Thursday, same deal, and Friday as well. Even some record highs up toward Atlanta, Montgomery, and over there toward Jackson, Mississippi will be possible once we get to Friday, April 25th. Now, it's going to be a very active period still next week. We don't have a big synoptic storm system that's going to bring in a big trough next week, and we're going to see an outbreak of severe weather or anything like that. But we could have some pulse-type thunderstorms that develop in the heat of the afternoon for a few hours, and then they'll fall apart as the sun sets as we stabilize the atmosphere, and that'll be on almost a daily basis across this region. So here we go. Starting on Monday, April 21st, we got that first system that's coming through today. That low pressure is going to be up near Lake Superior in the UP of Michigan on Monday, and just seeing more active weather across mainly the plains, but even parts of the Midwest from time to time throughout the week. And it's mainly maybe a dry line or a warm front that could set off some storms here, but no big synoptic storm systems that's going to bring a huge outbreak or anything like that of severe weather. But we are still going to be wringing out the moisture. We're going to be seeing some pretty heavy rainfall across portions of the central southern plains and the lower Mississippi Valley. And unfortunately, areas that really don't need the rainfall, like Arkansas, are going to be seeing a couple more inches there of rain as we go into next week. And we do have to watch the instability. This is your CAPE, convective available potential energy. Notice on Monday, the cold front kind of scouring out a lot of that energy. It's kind of more down toward the Gulf Coast. But as we go into Tuesday, April 22nd, that energy starts to build there across the southern plains, Texas, Oklahoma, and Kansas. And then we continue to see that energy build really throughout the week. But in general, as we go into tomorrow on Monday, April 21st, general thunderstorm risk from Lake Erie and Lake Huron all the way back down here into the Gulf Coast. And then we have another general thunderstorm risk across the northern plains stretching toward the Midwest. As we go into Tuesday, now we have a level 1 out of 5 marginal risk in dark green from southern Kansas near Wichita down toward Oklahoma City, Elk City, El Reno, Lawton, and Fort Sill. Back here to Wichita Falls, Abilene, those areas at risk as we go into Tuesday, mainly for wind and hail, but a couple of tornadoes will be possible. And notice Tuesday morning, very quiet. Then we go into the midday hours and then the peak daytime heating as we talked about. And that means some thunderstorms will develop maybe off a dry line here. And then we'll start to see those kind of move to the east a little bit towards central Texas, central Oklahoma, and central Kansas. And then once the sun does set, those storms will kind of dwindle in intensity and coverage once we go into that Tuesday time frame. Let's talk about the last few days of April. This is April 26th through May 1st, and we're going to be seeing a ridge of high pressure right overhead of the Ohio Valley and the Great Lakes, which means it's going to promote some much warmer temperatures even as we finish off the month of April over there, and still cooler weather across the western United States near the west coast. And that's because we have a trough coming in, and this is going to be bringing us more of a synoptic setup, I do think, for significant severe weather outbreaks across the plains and maybe even the Midwest as we go through the last few days there of April, really between the 26th and the 30th time frame. And notice here, the long-range outlook actually shows that from Kansas, southward Oklahoma, and Texas, and even parts of the Midwest, Missouri again, Arkansas, Iowa, Illinois, Indiana. We all have to be on high alert there as we finish off the month of April. as a more synoptic trough will be coming across the United States and bringing us the potential for significant severe weather outbreaks during this time frame. Now, also could be bringing us some heavy rainfall all up and down the Great Plains from the Dakotas all the way to Texas here and parts of the Midwest as well. So we're going to be seeing another drink of water here from the rainfall department as we go through the last few days of April, and we could be seeing a couple more inches of rain across the plains, really widespread from the Dakotas all the way down to Texas there. And really through the rest of April, we're going to be adding up the rainfall amounts here. Very heavy rainfall going all the way through the rest of the month. In fact, areas from Kansas southward to Oklahoma and Texas, Arkansas, Louisiana in particular as well, could be seeing double-digit rainfall totals anywhere from up to 10 to even 18 inches of rain locally in some areas, and that could cause some significant flash flooding there in the long range. Now let's look at early May, shall we? So let's look at the experimental week 3 and 4 temperature outlook from the Climate Prediction Center between May 3rd and May 16th. It's warmest across the west and the south central United States. And then we see some equal chances of above or below normal temperatures across the upper Midwest, the Great Lakes, and the Northeast. As far as precipitation is concerned, the greatest belt of higher moisture content and heavier rains and severe weather will be shifting further north into the central high plains, the northern high plains, more the Midwest and Ohio Valley, and above normal rainfall over there in the Northeast as well. And we're still, unfortunately, going to be below normal in the rainfall department there across the southeast coast, especially for the peninsula of Florida. An ongoing drought in that area will intensify as we go into the middle of the month of May. Notice the drought already, the drought monitor that was released this past Thursday, April 17th. Florida is under a moderate, severe, even an extreme drought area down there towards the Everglades are starting to develop. So we're going to be keeping a very close eye on that. Thank you all for watching. Make sure to like the video, give it a thumbs up, comment down below, and subscribe to my channel for the latest accurate and reliable weather information on YouTube. And have a happy Easter out there. I'll see you all in the next update.